नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो सम्बुद्धस्स एवं मे सुतं एकं समयं भगवा पाराणस्यां विहरति सिपत्ने तत्र को भगवा पञ्चवग्ये भिक्खु आमन्त्रेति देमे भिक्खवे अन्तापब्बजितेन न सेवितव्वा यो चायं कामेषु कामसुखाल्लिकानुयोगो गम्मोपतुज्जनिको अनरियो अनर्थसंहितो यो चायं अत्थ किल मतानुयोगो दुःखो अनरियो अनर्थ एते ते भिक्खवे उपवन्ते अनुपगम्म मज्जिमा पटिपदा तथागतेन चक्षुकरणी ज्ञानकरणी उपशमाय अभिज्ञाय सम्बोधाय निब्बानाय कथमाच सा भिक्खवे मज्जिमा पटिपदा तथागतेन चक्षुकरणी ज्ञानकरणी उपशमाय अभिज्ञाय सम्बोधाय निब्बानाय अयमेव आर्यो अष्टाङ्गिको मग्गो सेयतीदं सम्मा संकप्पो सम्मा वाचा सम्मा कम्मन्तो सम्मा वायामो सम्मा सति सम्मा अयं को भिक्खवे मज्जिमा पटिपदा तथागतेन चक्षुकरणी ज्ञानकरणी उपशमाय अभिज्ञाय सम्बोधाय निब्बानाय इदं को वन भिक्खवे दुःखं हरिय सत्यं जातिपि दुःखा जरापि दुःखा व्याधिपि दुःखा दुःखोऽपि एहि विप्रयोगो दुःखो यं पिच्छं न लभति तंपि दुःखं संकित्तेन नक्खन्दा दुःखा इदं को फन भिक्खवे दुःखसमुदयं यायं तन्हा पोनो भविका नन्दिरागदागता तत्र सेयतीदं काम तन्हा भव तन्हा विभव तन्हा इदं कोपन भिक्खवे दुःख निरोधं यो तस्सा एव तन्हाय अशेष विराग निरोधो चागो पटिनिस्सग्गो मुक्ति इदं कोपन भिक्खवे दुःख निरोधगामिनी पटिपदार्य सत्यं अयमेव आर्यो सेयतीदं सम्मा दिट्ठि सम्मा संकप्पो सम्मा वाचा सम्मा सम्मा जीवो सम्मा वायामो सम्मा सति इदं दुःखं अरिय सत्यं दिमे भिक्खवे बुभ्भे अननुसृतेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि संकोपनिदं दुःखं अरिय सत्यं परिज्ञेयन्ति मे भिक्खवे बुभ्भे अननुसृतेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि आलोको संकोपनिदं दुःखं अरिय सत्यं परिज्ञायन्ति मे भिक्खवे बुभ्भे अननुसृतेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि आलोको इदं दुःखसमुदयं अरिय सत्यं दिमे भिक्खवे बुभ्भे अननुसृतेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि आलोको संकोपनिदं दुःखसमुदयं अरिय सत्यं पातपन्ति मे भिक्खवे धम्मेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि उदपादि संकोपनिदं दुःखसमुदयं अरिय सत्यं परिज्ञेयन्ति मे भिक्खवे बुभ्भे धम्मेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि इदं दुःखनिरोधं अरिय सत्यं दिमे भिक्खवे बुभ्भे अननुसृतेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि आलोको संकोपनिदं दुःखनिरोधं अरिय सत्यं सच्चिकातपन्ति भिक्खवे बुभ्भे अननुसृतेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि आलोको संकोपनिदं दुःखनिरोधं अरिय सत्यं सच्चिकातपन्ति भिक्खवे बुभ्भे अननुसृतेषु चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि आलोको इदं दुःखनिरोधगामिनी प्रतिपदारिय सत्यं दिमे भिक्खवे बुभ्भे चक्षुं उदपादि ज्ञानं उदपादि पञ्चा उदपादि विद्या उदपादि आलोको संकोपनिदं दुःखनिरोधं නිරෝධගාමිනී පටිපදාරිය සච්ඡං භාවේ තබ්බන්ති උබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝ පනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධගාමිනී පටිපදාරිය සච්ඡං භාවිතන්ති මේ උබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි යාව කේවං ච මේ භික්ඛවේ මේසු චතුර්වරිය එවං ති පරිවට්ඨං දසාකාරං යථා භූතං ඥාන දස්සනං සුවිදුද්ධං අවෝදි දේවතාවං භික්ඛවේ දේවකේ ලෝකේ සමාරකේ බ්‍රහ්මකේ සමන බ්‍රාහ්මනියා දේව මනුස්සාය අනුත්තරං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධින් අභිසම්බුද්ධෝ අට්ඨඤ්ඤාසෙන් යතෝ චකෝ මේ භික්ඛවේ මේසු චතුර්වරිය එවං ති පරිවට්ඨං දාදසාකාරං යථා භූතං ඥාන දස්සනං සුවිදුද්ධං තථාං භික්ඛවේ දේවකේ ලෝකේ සමාරකේ බ්‍රහ්මකේ සමන බ්‍රාහ්මනියා දේව මනුස්සාය අනුත්තරං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධින් අභිසම්බුද්ධෝ පච්චඤ්ඤාසෙන් ඥානං ච පනමේ දස්සනං උදපාදි අකුප්පාමේ චේතෝ විමුක්තිය මන්ති මා ජාති නත්ති දානි පුනබ්බෝති ඉදම වෝච භගවාත් මනෝ පංච වග්ගියා භික්ඛෝ භගවතෝ භාවිතං අභිනන්දන්ති ඉමස්මින් ච පනවේයා කරණග්නින් පඤ්ඤමානේ ආයත්මතෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤස්ස විරජං වීතමලං ධම්මචක්ඛං උදපාදි යං කිංචි සමුදය ධම්මං සම්බන්තං නිරෝධ ධම්මං තේ පවත්ති තේච පන භගවතා ධම්මචක්ඛේ පුම්මා දේවා ඒතං භගවතා පාරාණසියං නිදිමතනේ විගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්ඛං පවත්ති තං අප්පදිවත්තියං අමනේන වා බ්‍රාහ්මණේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මනා වා කේන ජීවා කල්මින් බුම්මානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා රාජිකා දේවා සද්ද මනුසාවේරං ඒතං භගවතා පාරාණසියං නිදිමතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්ඛං පවත්ති තං අප්පදිවත්තියං ස්වාමනේන වා බ්‍රාහ්මණේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මනා වා කේන ජීවා ලෝකස්මින් දේ ජාතුම් මහරජ कानं देवानं सत्तं श्रुत्वा तावदिन्द्रा देवा एतं भगवता वाराणस्यां निधिपतने विगदाये अनुत्तरं धम्मचक्रं पवत्तितं अपतिवाद्यं स्वामिनेन वा ब्राह्मणेन वा देवेन वा मारेण वा ब्रह्मणा वा केन जीवा सावतिङ्गानं देवानं सत्तं श्रुत्वा यामः देवा एतं भगवता वाराणस्यां निधिपतने विगदाये अनुत्तरं धम्मचक्रं पवत्तितं अपतिवाद्यं स्वामिनेन वा ब्राह्मणेन वा देवेन वा मारेण वा ब्रह्मणा वा केन जीवा लोकास्मिन् यामानं देवानं सत्तं श्रुत्वा दुषिता देवा एतं भगवता वाराणस्यां निधिपतने विगदाये अनुत्तरं धम्मचक्रं पवत्तितं अपतिवाद्यं स्वामिनेन वा ब्राह्मणेन वा देवेन वा मारेण वा ब्रह्मणा केन जीवा लोकास्मिन् दुषितानां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा निम्मानरति देवा एतं भगवता वाराणस्यां निधिपतने विगदाये अनुत्तरं धम्मचक्रं पवत्तितं अपतिवाद्यं स्वामिनेन वा ब्राह्मणेन वा देवेन वा मारेण वा ब्रह्मणा वा केन जीवा लोकास्मिन् निम्मानरतीनां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा परनिम्मितवसवत्तिनो परनिम्मितवसवत्तीनां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा ब्रह्मपारिषद्या देवा ब्रह्मपारिषद्यानां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा ब्रह्मपुरोहिता देवा ब्रह्मपुरोहितानां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा महाब्रह्मा देवा महाब्रह्माणां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा परितापा देवा परितापानां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा अपमानापा देवा अपमानाभानां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा आपस्सरा देवा आपस्सराणां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा परितरुपा देवा परितरुपानां देवानां सत्तं श्रुत्वा अपमानरुपा देवा अपमानरुपानां देवा देवानन्दं कृत्वा सुखकिन्नका देवा सुभकिन्नकानं देवानन्दं कृत्वा वेहप्पला देवा वेहप्पलानं देवानन्दं कृत्वा अविहानं देवानन्दं कृत्वा तप्पा देवा अतप्पानं देवानन्दं कृत्वा सुदर्शनं देवानन्दं कृत्वा सुदर्शी देवा सुदर्शिनं देवानन्दं कृत्वा कनिष्ठका देवा एतं भगवता वाराणस्यां विधिपतने विगताये अनुत्तरं धम्मचक्रं प्रवर्तितं अपतिवत्र्यं रमणेन वा ब्राह्मणेन वा देवेन वा मारेण वा ब्रह्मणः वा केन चिवा इतिहासेन खनेन तेन मोक्तेन याव ब्रह्मलोकादद्दो अभुङ्गञ्जे लोकधातु संकम्पि सम्पकम्पि सम्पयेति अपमानो च उलारो ओभालो लोके पातुरादि अतिक्रम्य देवानं देवानुभावन्ति अथ को भगवा उदानं उदाने अन्यादिवत भोगोन्नन्यो अन्यादिवत भोगोन्नन्यो इति गङ्गायास्मतो कोन्नन्यस्य अन्या कोन्नन्यो देवनामं आदिति एतेन गच्छवज्जेन दुःखा उपगमिन्तु ते तेन गच्छवज्जेन भया उपगमिन्तु ते तेन गच्छवज्जेन रोगा उपगमिन्तु ते.
All today is the Asala full moon day. Asala means name of another month. And the day, or the full moon day, the Buddha delivered the first sermon. That means 3 months after gaining his enlightenment. And why do we want to recite this discourse in the Pali language, which you cannot understand? So very easily we can read the English translation. You must understand the difference between the translation and the original text. It is historical that more than 2,500 years ago, the language used by the Buddha in India was known as Magadhi Pali. The word Pali was not there at that time in India. There were 6 languages: Magadhi, Sauraseni, Apabhransa, Paisaj, and Sanskrit. And the word Sanskrit also used later. Formerly only Vedic. The word Pali for this language, which was known as Magadhi in India, started after recording the Pali Tripitaka and rearranging all the discourses according to the size, the length. They have collected all the short, very, very short sermons and separated and given one name for that book. That is called Anguttara Nikaya, Sutra Pitaka. Again, long, not very long one. They have collected some other discourses called middle length, Majjhima Nikaya, and separated. And again, very long sutras like Satipatthana Sutta, Mahaparinibbana Sutta. There are 30-40 pages and separated into another book called Digha Nikaya, the long sutras. And again, stanzas or gathas like Dhammapada. So still, we use the same language that they have recorded nearly 2000 years ago. So we believe that this is the language used by the Buddha. The words came out from the Buddha's mouth, and he wanted to tell others actually what he gained or realized, that we introduce as enlightenment. What is this enlightenment? I think you have heard there were only 5 disciples to listen to him at that time. The whole teaching that he delivered for 45 years, when we analyze, divided into various categories, into 84,000 items. 45 years teachings, when you collect, we can allocate into 84,000 items. But here, in this first sermon, Dhamma Chakka Sutra or Dhamma Chakka Pavattana Sutra, he has summarized and introduced the essence of the Dhamma and the nature of enlightenment. Because we believe that enlightenment means knowledge or intellect or realizations, if not very sharp or penetrative knowledge. But enlightenment is entirely different thing. First, he gave this advice. So when you are going to practice this religion or Buddhism, you must understand not to go to any extreme. Now that is the first advice. There are 2 extremes, he said. Not to torture your physical body and your mind to practice Buddhism. Because this practice was very common in India at that time. Because they believe the more they torture their physical body, the more they suffer, they can wash away the sins, they can purify the mind and can gain the enlightenment or nirvana. So the Buddha has rejected this belief. And the second advice was not to indulge too much. What is this indulgement? People always argue. What is wrong actually? When we want to use our five senses to gain some sort of happiness, how can a religion says it is wrong? A religion never says it is wrong. Religion means Buddhism. Point out the problems, the difficulties, worries, fear, tension, unhappiness we develop after this indulgence. The problems, the difficulties, worries, fear, tension, unhappiness we develop after this indulgence. Take for instance, when you have some sort of itch, we want to scratch. When you scratch, we feel very nice feeling. But that is not the remedy for that itch. The situation of that skin problem can be aggravated. And later this can become bigger or septic. Simply by scratching, we never get rid of this problem. So, indulgence means scratching our five senses when there is itch. Now, this is the nature of worldly enjoyment. People cannot understand. They think through their enjoyments they can find the purpose or the satisfaction in their life, but they never gain it. Why? The whole world look like a battlefield today because of this indulgence, because of this itch and mental itch also. So by scratching or by attacking or by beating or by killing or by destroying, we won't gain the solution to cure this itchiness, aggravate the situation. That is the meaning of not to indulge too much. If you become slaves to your pleasure, then later you become very, very unhappy. And you never maintain contentment in your life. In the end, you depart from this world as unsatisfied living beings. That is the first advice. Then the second advice, the interpretation given by the Buddha, how he gained enlightenment. What is the nature of this enlightenment? He said, Chakkhung udapadi, Jnanang udapadi, Panya udapadi, Vidya udapadi, Aloko udapadi. I got 5 kinds of wisdom. Formally, that I never experienced in my life. Then item by, he explained the nature of these 5 kinds of wisdom. So I have no time to explain. This is not the sermon, just only an introduction to this sutta. Then he explained what he realized. Four Noble Truths. When you hear these 2 words, Four Noble Truths, you can say, yes, we also know. We have read, we have learned, and we know. But did you realize even one among those 4? Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, Magga. These are the 4. I can use a simple language without using book or textual words. First thing, why are we here in this world? Are we happy with this life? Then everybody says, everybody complain, everybody grumble. Very difficult to find out fully satisfied or contented single human beings on this earth. You see, coming to 5,000 millions human beings on this earth very soon. You can go and interview each and every person, whether you can find out a single human being who is fully satisfied with this life. Why always complain? Either physical or mental or worldly or internal or external problems, troubles, unhappiness are realizations of this nature is the first truth. How many have realized this? You can say we know Four Noble Truths, but did you realize? If you realize this, you never grumble for anything. Because you can understand why these problems arise. When you go and disturb an Arahant or a Buddha, they never grumble, they never criticize, they never condemn, because they realized this. What is the cause of it? Then the second one is, if you can understand that we are not happy with this life, then you must try to find out where the secret is. Who is responsible for this? It is due to our ignorance. We say God is responsible, devil is responsible, ghosts are responsible. This is called ignorance. When we realize the things properly, we never utter such words. Because we know all these problems, unhappiness or unsatisfactoriness arise from one particular point, cause. Then what is it? When the Buddha pointed out the real cause, of all our problems as our own craving, then you say only that much. But you can go on analyzing one after the other, 1001 problems you are facing. In the end, you come back to your craving. That is the main cause. Realizations of this is the second noble truth. If you can realize this, then we know how to face our problem, how to reduce this craving, how to maintain contentment, how to maintain peace in our mind. This is the advantage of this realization. Then the third one. By realizing these truths, what do we gain? For what purpose that we try to realize? Third truth to explain. After this realization, we do not generate any more craving or crazy attitude for our life or the world or property or this or that. Then automatically all the other problems also fade away, disappear. That is the only time that we can experience real happiness, real peace, calmness, satisfaction in our life. For that we use one word, nirvana. But again, by using our ignorance and craving, we have framed up, we have illustrated nirvana according to our taste. That means to satisfy the same craving, we have illustrated nirvana in such a way to create temptation. Just like paradise or heaven or pure land or Sukhavati, just to create temptation in the man's mind. Still we have ignorance. That is why we illustrate and introduce this in this way. Then the last one, the method. We realize, we admit we are not happy. And we realize what is the cause of this problem. We know it is our own craving. And we know that we can really experience peace and happiness and satisfaction in our life. Then what is the method? This is the most misunderstood concept or the belief amongst various religious groups. Usually people believe the method is pray and worship and recite something or believe in God. This is the method. Otherwise, no salvation for you. This belief was a very, very old belief which was rejected by the Buddha. Then he said, this is the method. He said, I have practiced, I have studied all these methods earlier, but I could not gain a real enlightenment through those practices. Then he introduced eightfold noble path. There are 8 items, but only one path. There are no 8 paths. I heard on many occasions some other speakers, they give talk, they say there are 84,000 paths to Nirvana. This is the nature of their understanding. We take only one path, that is enough. Alright, let us take one among those 84,000. Not to tell lies, one path. Not to destroy others' lives, one path. Not to have sexual misconduct, another path. So by practicing only that particular path, can they attain Nirvana? And this is the way how they mislead innocent people. 84,000 items. Since we cannot cultivate, practice all these at once within one lifetime, we develop life after life. That is why it has taken such a long period for Buddha to gain his enlightenment. Again, people try to introduce this. Oh, don't worry, not necessary for you to have repeated birth and death again and again. Within this lifetime you can gain enlightenment, you can attain if you practice this brand of Buddhism. But they cannot introduce anybody who gained this. Where this person exists within this lifetime? Who gained this enlightenment within this lifetime? Always they mislead innocent people. So these 8 methods are known as noble. So why did he introduce this as Arya? Arya, the word used by the Buddha, Aryo Attangiko Maggo, 8-fold noble path. Arya means noble. Those who practice this method naturally become noble people. Another meaning, this path is noble, respectable, harmless, without hurting, disturbing, accusing any living beings in this world. When people practice this method, that is called noble path. Then people also automatically become noble people. And this 8-fold noble path we introduce as Samma Ditthi, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vācā, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ājīva, Samma Vāyāma, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. I think you have heard more than 1,000 times our interpretation. This is the creams or the essence of the Buddha's teaching that he has summarized in this Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. So we are going to recite these sutras. And the monks who recite this, they radiate their kindness and compassion towards you for your peace and happiness to maintain good health. And when you listen to this chanting with devotion and confidence, although at once you cannot understand, your devotion, your understanding contribute a lot for you to get rid of so many problems. When you listen to certain music, you like rhythm, You like the wordings. You entertain your human emotion. You say, very nice song. But how long can you listen to this song or music? Maybe few months. After that you throw away this. But this chanting, although never entertain human emotion, although you cannot understand, at that time you develop your devotion and confidence. Therefore you never get fed up with this chanting. And the monks never get fed up with this chanting. Monks who chant also like to listen to the chanting. Because this is not to entertain emotion. At that time we develop devotion. This devotion calms the mind. Then the physical body. But after listening to music, you arouse your passions, your emotions, and so many things, create excitement, and you also dance according to the tune. There's a vast difference between chanting and singing songs or music. So, we are going to recite the sutras to bless you all.